Coming up next is On the Agenda. Today we'll be talking about Highway 92. And if you travel Fairburn Road crossing the I-20 bridge, you certainly will not wish to miss this program. Welcome to this edition of On the Agenda. I'm Bill Osmond, City Manager in Douglasville, and today we're talking about Georgia Highway 92. Now, as you think about traveling north-south in Douglasville, Douglas County, certainly Highway 92 will come to mind because it's the route that you probably will be taking. And as you know, if you're coming into Douglasville from Paulding County, very frequently when you get close to downtown, you will get tied up in traffic trying to get across the railroad tracks. Those tracks, certainly that crossing is a dangerous crossing. In fact, while cars and pickup trucks and so forth can go on across that crossing, go down Campbellton Street to get to I-20 of the mall, GDOT, Georgia Department of Transportation, has marked at that particular point before you get to the railroad tracks to turn to the left on Strickland Street. And it takes you eastward till you get to more level crossing. Then you can work your way back around till you end up on Fairburn Road going southbound. And one reason for that is because tractor-trailer trucks who try to go across that railroad crossing will get hung up on it. It's simply too steep. And while most truck drivers obey those rules, sometimes we have a truck that gets hung up on it. Potential disaster anytime that takes place. Thankfully, Douglas County E911 and Norfolk Southern have communicated with each other so that we haven't had a disaster, but you know, the mistakes, foolish mistakes made by a truck driver could be very, very unfortunate, and as long as we have the current condition of that roadway, we have the potential of that being a problem. But you know, the days of the current situation are numbered because the city of Douglasville has been working for a long time on the relocation of Georgia Highway 92. And this would be from near the northern part of the city up near where the fire station is located. There would be a routing of Highway 92 by Davis Park. It would cross over Bankhead Highway just to the east of the old mill, and then would come back in to Fairburn Road near where Hospital Drive is. And that's a project that we've been working on for almost a decade. It takes a long time for a major transportation project to be planned and then constructed. I'm delighted to report to you today that we have gotten over most of the hurdles. The city has finished the work it had to do on the environmental assessment, on working on preliminary engineering, on going through the process of getting this on the Atlanta Regional Commission's TIP, Transportation Improvement Program, of working with Georgia Department of Transportation, GDOT, to get the funding done. And actually the city has spent more than $2.6 million with what we've done. And that's a lot of money for a small government such as ours. About $1.4 million of that came out of our general fund. About $1.25 million came out of the 2002 splosh, but we have spent $2.6 million. But that's a pretty good investment when you consider that what GDOT now plans to do on acquiring right-of-way and then building this road will be somewhat like about a $70 million project. It will probably be the largest transportation project done in Douglasville, Douglas County, other than when I-20 was built through this county. Now, if you look at the route of this new road, as I mentioned, it will enter Fairburn Road near where Hospital Drive is. If you look at the new CVS pharmacy, it actually was located so that it would be facing this new road. And one closing comment before I move to my first guest today is that because the traffic is in such a dangerous situation coming across that existing grade level crossing, GDOT and Norfolk Southern demanded that that crossing be closed. The city was concerned because we wanted to have connectivity between our north side community and our downtown area. And we were able to get GDOT and Norfolk Southern to agree that 1 block west of the current crossing is that they will let us upgrade the Macaulay crossing. That's right there across the railroad tracks from O'Neill Plaza in the heart of downtown. That crossing will still be open, which will provide good access between the north side and the community of downtown with the post office and everything. But Highway 92 is a very important project for us. I have, when we come back from the break, Congressman David Scott, who will be talking with me about this project. Welcome back to On the Agenda. In the first part of the program, I gave you background information about one of the most important road projects in the city of Douglasville in decades, namely the Highway 92 relocation project. In the last part of today's program, I'll be talking with a representative from the Georgia Department of Transportation about the road widening, the bridge relocation work that's going on right now at I-20. But in this part of On the Agenda, it's my pleasure to welcome to the program our Congressman David Scott. Mr. Congressman, nice to have you with us today.
Well, thank you I'm glad to be with you on this very, very important discussion. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, delighted to have you. You know, we worked on this project even before you became our congressman. In fact, a few years ago, the city of Douglasville, Douglas County, the Chamber of Commerce, we had a delegation that went to Washington and met with as many members of the Georgia congressional delegation as possible. What we were trying to do is to get funds to start the Highway 92 relocation project earmarked in a congressional transportation bill. And Congressman Phil Gingrich, who was our congressman at that time, along with one of your former colleagues, Matt Collins, they were instrumental in getting money put in, so that gave us an initial earmarking. But we still had a lot of problems to overcome, both with the federal government, with GDOT and the Atlanta Regional Commission. And as we look at it here, you were kind of riding to the rescue right near the end of what we needed to have done. And I think it did provide a great opportunity to show how state, local, and federal officials can work together on a project. And we appreciate what you and your staff did to kind of get the Highway 92 project over the hump to start. Yeah. If you would, just comment on why you have an interest in the Highway 92 project.
Well, this Highway 92 project of Fairburn Road is absolutely critical and essential for the future of Douglasville, and certainly the future growth of all of Douglas County. This is the main artery, and it's in great need of attention, of expansion, residentially, for commercial value. But when you look at it coming all the way from Paulding County, coming through all the way down over the railroad, over the expressway, and on out into where it meets and intersects with I-166 going into Fulton County. That area of Douglas County is where a great deal of development is certainly important to take place. And in order for it to take place, you've got to have access. And this road is the main artery coming through for the future of Douglas County. That's why it's so important. And then when you're coming down from Paulding County and Cobb County up at the north, Douglasville has been the main artery to get access from this part of Georgia to I-20. Mm-hmm. Now we have some great challenges. We have the challenge of the railroad. And we have that big problem that has been a great consternation to residents in Douglasville and everyone trying to get through, is when that train is moving, bam, everything stops, comes to a death. At the same time, you've got the old line, very beautiful, but it is the central heart of Douglasville, and that is the downtown area, that needs not to be clustered and smothered, but has to be opened up so development can take place there. So this is why this road is so vitally important. It rests with the entire future of Douglasville. And as we both know, and you, of course, as a city manager, know far better than I, the rapidity of the growth of Douglas County. Your listeners may not know, but Douglas County now is in the top 35 fastest growing counties in the nation.
Right.
That's a great thing, but we've got to be prepared. We've got to move with it. We've got to make sure our roads are there to embrace this growth so that we can have the greatest residential and commercial quality of life that is absolutely possible. The people of Douglasville and Douglas County deserve that, and I am just excited to provide some leadership in Washington to help to make sure we get the money down. It's going to be around $75 to $80 million.
Right.
That's a big, big deal.
Absolutely.
And we are very excited to work with you, making sure we get that money down.
Well, the city of Douglasville, of course, was responsible for the preliminary engineering, and we spent about $2.5 million on that. And while that's a lot of money for a small local government, we felt like that was a good investment to get, as you say, about a $75 million project. If you would just briefly explain to our audience, we talked about getting Congress to earmark funds to start this project.
Right.
It's why that's important.
Well, it's very important because what happens in the appropriations process is that we have different appropriations bills that come before Congress. It's important to get our requests in for however much it may be. Our major conduit down here for our earmarks process is your Georgia DOT. We transfer, we get the money, we bring it down, and we apply it and give it to the Georgia Department of Transportation. They have what we call a transportation improvement program, of which this is a major, major part. So that has been already earmarked as funded. What is important to realize is that this is a continuation. We've got it in to start the process, but we want to keep it going so that we get money coming down in each of these appropriations process. And that's what they call earmarks, where you mark a sort of an earmark where you mark the project so that you know that this project is specifically designated for this amount of money. And earmarks are designed to go directly to a particular congressman's district. And this is an earmark that I am very, very proud of. What we do is we make sure the appropriators understand the importance of it. We have a transportation person on my staff that bird dogs this. I have excellent relationships with our Transportation Committee chairman. I work with each of the members of the Transportation Committee. And this is where developing relationships and partnerships and alliances with different members of Congress works. I'm not on Transportation Committee, so I have to have some friends over there to make sure it's taken care of.
Right.
But I am on Financial Services, I'm on Foreign Affairs, I'm on Agriculture, I'm on a lot of the budget committees and the money committees, so they may need some help from me.
Right.
So I have some good friends on there, and of course my biggest friend is the chairman of the committee.
Right.
And he's a good friend, so we make sure that we have these earmarked and ready to go for this community.
Well, we appreciate what you've done on this particular project. And I know you have another couple of transportation projects that you're working on for the Douglas County community.
Yes, I'm very, very excited about our Lee Road Bridge project. That's another one. As I said, transportation is the biggest issue out here because you have the growth, the schools are blossoming, you have families who are taking very significant interest in the community and in their families. You have young families. We have a lot of elementary schools, so we're getting money down to help with that. But if you don't have the road structure, and Lee Road is another example of how we can expand and give some breadth and room for it to grow. It's congested up there now. So we've got money in the budget in which I think it's about $550,000 now ready to go, which will put 12 lanes, 12-foot lanes on each side going in each direction, 6-foot median in the middle, sidewalks on each side of 12 feet, And we're very, very excited about that. That gives another exit and entrance into this community from that side. The other thing is the other side of 92 and Fairburn Road, which you see great progress now, going down the County Line Road, going all the way down to where the I-166 connects. I see down there the opportunities for a whole new shopping center to be developed. And I think there's one on the drawing boards to do just that. That area is of maximum growth, where you have a lot of population coming in from the South Fulton area and from the south coming in there along Factory Shoals, Holly Springs Road down there, Old Chapel Hill Road that goes down in that area. And with the widening of 92 and making it more accessible, bringing more traffic into there, but in a way that does not hamper the residential or the business quality of life, but helps to expand it. So we're very excited about that, and I hope that people in Douglasville understand that there's going to be some inconveniences. There's going to be some major inconveniences, a reorientation. We have a massive challenge before us to make sure our constituents are educated, that they are informed, that they know that a lot of these things are going to be on a temporary basis, and we're going to have to ask for a great deal of patience here.
Right.
But the other side of it is to do nothing. And if you do nothing, you suffocate.
Right.
We got to do something so we can expand, take advantage of this growth, and make money in this county, and make sure that we have the highest residential quality of life and a place in which businesses can come, employ people, and we have just a higher quality of things. In order to do that, we've got to pay this preliminary price. So we realize that as public officials, as you do, your mayor, and as a city commissioner, your city council people, everybody is concerned to make sure that the entire community buys into all of this, so that when you see this expansion and you see 92 being brought down to one lane, please don't get mad. Don't get frustrated. Be happy, because this is progress.
Right. And I will be talking later in today's on the agenda with a representative from the Georgia Department of Transportation about what the Congressman has said, that the time is coming very shortly that Highway 92 coming across I-20 on that temporary bridge, we're talking about one lane of traffic in each way. And when we come back, we'll be talking about looking at some alternate routes. But as we conclude this part, Mr. Congressman, in addition to thanking you for being with us today, any closing comments you want to make to your constituent here in Douglasville, Douglas County?
Well, just as I always say, it's a great honor and a privilege to serve the fine folks of Douglas County. And of course, dealing with the subject we're dealing with today, the transportation, these are big, huge projects. We have to really rise to the occasion, and the total community embrace them and move forward with them. But it's also very important to get the right information, and that's why we are here. My office is ready to assist. We have Smyrna office. We have town hall meetings. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what your concerns are, so that we can make sure that everybody in Douglasville is as happy as we can possibly be. And if the people in Douglasville and Douglas County are happy, you better believe David Scott is happy.
Mr. Congressman, thank you for being with me today, and look forward to having you back to another edition of On the Agenda.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
Welcome back to On the Agenda. The Georgia Department of Transportation, in addition to working with the City of Douglasville on the Highway 92 relocation project, is busy with another big project on Highway 92. And you're probably acquainted with this, especially if you travel on Fairburn Road and have been down crossing over the Interstate 20 bridge. This is a $27 million project of roadway reconstruction, intersection improvements, and a construction of a big new bridge. And the completion deadline for this project is December 31 of 2009. And I'm sure that all of us will be delighted when that date is reached and all the construction work is over and we have what will be an excellent new transportation facility here in the city of Douglasville. At this time on the agenda, would like to welcome Katina Lear, who's Director of Communication in GDOT's District 7 office. Ms. Lear, it's nice to have you with us on the agenda. Over the past few months, of course, our viewers have witnessed firsthand, perhaps, of looking at the construction of a temporary bridge over I-20. Now they're seeing the demolition of the old bridge, now that the temporary bridge is being used. And, you know, they've been tied up in traffic. But we know that this is a project that's going to be going on for another 2 years. Tell us what's some background on this project and the status of the project at this time.
Well, basically, as you said, the temporary bridge has been constructed. Traffic is utilizing that bridge. We are now looking to start to continue with the project, and as you said, we're starting demolition on the existing bridge. Basically, the status is that we are continuing along with the project. We are constructing the ramps, and basically we are trying to get folks to stay out of the area as much as possible to relieve some of that traffic congestion and the woes that the public is having. But we're moving forward in the process. We're going to start, as I said, demolition and continue with that, and hope to start construction of the new bridge.
Right. And I guess patience is a key for all motorists. Anytime you have a massive project like this, that all of us get somewhat frustrated when we can't get where we want to go, when we want to do it. We're looking for being able to travel without delays. I know we have complaints from time to time here in the city that we've got all this traffic around the mall. Well, of course you have traffic around the mall, but if you had no traffic around the mall, you wouldn't have the business to do the mall. And you can't get the construction work done without interfering with the normal flow of traffic, because you're rebuilding things or building things anew. And you know, there have been traffic delays, but from what I understand, as you look ahead over the months that are coming, that perhaps we haven't seen anything yet in terms of the delays that people will experience who would be going through the construction zone. Tell us what will be happening over the next few months with some of the major construction activities.
Well, basically what we're trying to do is get out now, let the public know that the traffic congestion is going to get much worse as the project progresses and continues on. We would like for people to look for alternate routes. Beginning the middle of 2008, summer, we are going to be reducing the lanes on State Route 92 to one lane in each direction with a center turn lane. So as you can tell, traffic is going to be much worse once that happens. We will have obvious advance notice. We're hoping that at least 2 weeks notice on lane closures, things like that, but that could last up to 6 to 9 months time, that State Route 92 would be down to one lane in each direction with a center turn lane in that area, in the construction area. So as you can see, we need folks to find different routes.
We need people to look ahead, even though GDOT has said for several months that there would be delays. I'm sure that there are people who get caught up in traffic on Fairburn Road and probably wonder, why did I come this way? How long is it going to take me to get through this area? We would encourage our viewers to begin now to look for alternates, because the time will come, as GDOT spokesman has said, there'll be less lanes to carry traffic for a period of time than we have now. We also know that Shawnee Trail at some point will be closed off, as will Van Sant, and the people who live on those streets would not be able to have access to Fairburn Road. So we would just encourage people to look for alternates at this time. Now, when the road project is completed, I think everybody will be delighted. Looking ahead, Katina, can you give us a little bit of a view of of what the completed project will be like.
Sure. There's going to be sidewalks along the corridor that are going to be placed in for the pedestrians. Also, the bridge is actually going to be 100 feet longer and 140 feet wide. So you're going to have 8 lanes basically on the bridge, and 2 travel lanes in each direction with 2 turn lanes. So
Big bridge.
Big bridge, very big bridge. And hopefully we're also looking to the fact that I-20 may be widened in that area at some point, so we're going ahead and making the bridge a lot longer to accommodate that.
Right. I know from what I've been told that the bridge, as you say, will be longer, will be higher, will be bigger. And if people looked at, before this project started, of all the right-of-way that GDOT had to acquire and some of the businesses on Fairburn Road that were removed, and I think once people see the finished product, it'll all make sense. But you know, I kind of feel like that road construction, they say that you should never watch a legislature make laws or people make sausage. And I'm not so sure that road construction is not the same, that the final product looks great, but when it's underway, if you're in the midst of it trying to get through with traffic, it can be mighty tough. And we're encouraging residents of Douglasville, Douglas County, that local traffic, that you know side streets, you know alternate routes, to look at what could be done. A couple of specific things I think that we might recommend, where we have people that would be southbound needing to get to I-20, that when you get to Hospital Drive, make a right on Hospital Drive. That's a nice new road that the city of Douglasville has constructed with help from GDOT and the county government. Take that over to Campbellton Street, Chapel Hill Road. Get on the interstate there on Chapel Hill Road. Likewise, if you're going westbound, especially when you're coming home from commute in Atlanta, it's going to be tough if you try to get off at Fairburn Road. I think you'd be far better off either to get off earlier at Lee Road to get to your destination, or to go on through to Chapel Hill Road and work your way back. That would probably be a lot easier end of your commute on that particular day. But you know, I think that when we get through, everybody will be happy. And in the meantime, we just need to show some patience. Any final words for us today?
Well, I appreciate being given the opportunity to come and talk to the folks of Douglas County and discuss this project. And as you said, I think this project is going to be a great one, and people will be happy with it when it's through. I know it's going to cause some heartaches in the meantime, but just be patient, and please drive carefully through the work zones if you do come through the construction zone. And thank you.
Right. Well, thank you for being here. And you know, just a closing word. When you're stuck in this part of Fairburn Road, if you'll just think back not that many months ago that we had construction work going on Fairburn Road south of this area. GDOT had a major project to widen and improve Fairburn Road. And I think as you look back now, those of you who use that road, how great it is to have this new road. But perhaps during part of that construction period, that was not a pleasant experience. But this will be great when we get through. You know, I guess construction zones are hard to take in life, but it's great to have GDOT working here as a partner with the city on improving our transportation situations. And we thank you for being here today on the agenda.
Thank you.
In the months ahead, episodes of On the Agenda will update you on what's happening on the Highway 92 project. Both the construction being done by GDOT and its contractor at the I-20 bridge, and also GDOT working with the city of Douglasville on the Highway 92 relocation project. Thank you for watching today's On the Agenda.